Welcome to the live. Can you guys see and hear me okay? Please let me know, because potentially maybe it's supposed to be this way. Is this what we're doing? Can you see me? Okay, let's just see that everything is working fine. It's my first time doing a vertical live, and it's my first time doing a live from France. So I hope you can see me well. Is this working? Can you see it okay? Is it supposed to be vertical? I don't even know. We'll figure it out together. Hi, SB. I'm glad that you can see me. Okay. It's my first time doing this on my phone. So I am figuring it out. Let me know how you guys are doing. How can I leave a comment? Okay, we're gonna be in business shortly. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm able to leave a comment at all or not, but it's what it is. So today I am talking about the middle of August. The middle of August is relatively quiet. We've had a lot of big action. We've had Mars opposing Saturn, Mars opposing Neptune. We've had the pretty intense full moon. If you've been feeling any stressful energy, do share. I feel like it definitely has been pretty intense over here. Yesterday and today we have a beautiful Venus-Jupiter conjunction. And then it's pretty quiet for a while, pretty much until the new moon in Virgo on the 23rd. So the main aspects, well, the sun enters Virgo on the 22nd. But there are two aspects that we're going to talk about today, and that is Mercury-Mars sextile. And these two happen on August 14th and 18th, but we're feeling this energy between the 11th and the 20th of the month. So basically, the middle 10 days of the month are colored by this aspect. Hi, Faustine des Etoiles. Hi from France. Where in France are you? Hi, Bhavana. I'm glad people are doing well. Let me see if I can change this light at all. Okay. I still don't know how to leave comments on my own live, but just wanted to let you know that my course, Natal Astrology Blueprint of the Soul, begins on September 6th. You can sign up, you can join us and learn about your natal chart, work on self-improvement, work on embracing your karmic potential and building the version of you the universe intended you to be. You can register at anastasia.astrology.com. So, okay. So today we're talking about Mercury sextiling Mars. Like I said, the exact moments are August 14th at 10:04 p.m. Eastern Time, and then August 18th at 1:32 a.m. Eastern Time. But we are feeling this between August 11th and August 20th. You might even say that it lasts until August 23rd. In order to understand what Mercury sextile Mars means, Mercury is the planet of communication. It's the planet of transportation, mind, insights, right? And Mars is the planet of action. Mars is the planet of charging bravely into new territories. It's about desire. It's about drive and courage. And so when Mercury, the planet of the mind, comes together with the planet of desire by a sextile, which is a very harmonious aspect, we have an increase in the mental activity, which can be used quite well, right, in order to solve problems, to discuss issues, to send messages, to problem solve, which is the same as solve problems, but it's a really lovely transit for manual labor, for business negotiations, for submitting paperwork, dealing with documents, right? Anything where you need to be action-oriented and detailed. This is great. We have Mercury in Leo, which is the sign of showmanship and doing things with a flair and with a charm and charisma. And we have Mars in Libra, which is very diplomatic. So I really like this for kind of making amends, meeting people halfway, asking people for support, anything like that, and it's quite nice because this transit happens twice, and I'm going to talk about why it happens twice, because it colors this whole middle of August. So we're going to have this cooperative energy with us for quite some time. And why does it happen twice? Basically, Mercury just went direct yesterday. Congratulations, hooray, yay for all of us. And Mercury normally moves way faster than Mars. Mercury takes about 2 weeks to be in a sign versus Mars takes 6 weeks to be in a sign. But because Mercury has just stationed, it's moving very slowly, right? It was moving backwards and then it stopped. And of course, the planet doesn't stop. It's all a perceived motion of the planet, but it picks its speed back up and it moves very slowly. So the Mars moves faster currently, and Mars makes aspect to it. And then Mars continues moving, and then Mercury begins to move faster, and then Mercury aspects Mars again. So there is a double sextile, which is pretty rare, but often happens when there is a retrograde situation. So great for socializing, great for manual labor, like I said, great for going on dates, asking people on a date, anywhere you need to be more charming, anywhere you need to be assertive but not aggressive, you can benefit from this energy. And I'm going to take it through 12 zodiac signs to kind of give you tips on what you might be seeing, where these insights and blessings might be coming to you from. If you would like to book a reading with me, there are options. I have openings for September. All of that is on my website. You can see it in the description, and you can also register for my course. It begins so soon and it's gonna last 3 months. It's gonna teach you so much. So consider joining. It's gonna be a blast. We have a good group forming, and it's gonna be an intimate, pretty small group. So you will get to know each other quite closely as well. And also, you guys tell me your rising signs. It's always fun to see who's watching, to be like who's here and what kind of energies are getting activated for you. I know Bhavana is a Pisces rising. Faustine des Etoiles says Aix-en-Provence, South France. Okay. I am in Nice presently, so I assume we're relatively close together. Joe is a Scorpio rising, Jen is a Cancer rising, Bhavana is a Pisces, we have Virgo rising here, 2 Cancer risings, natal Cancer Venus, that is beautiful, Leo rising, okay, awesome. Yeah, do share your rising sign. I'm a Libra rising, so I will be representing Libra risings all over. I am so not used to this setup. I'm like kind of craving a little bit more light, but this one is so yellow. Well, maybe it's a little bit better. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more light. You know what I think I can do? No, never mind. A little Libra rising break. Hi Ali Babae. Hello. I am doing well. I hope everyone is doing well. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the zodiac signs. We have Danique, who's also Libra rising. How exciting. So we're starting with Aries rising. For Aries rising, Mercury is in the 5th house, Mars is in the 7th house, and the two are making a sextile. So really beautiful for anything romantic for Aries risings, going on dates, asking people on dates. Mars is in the house of partnerships. Mars is your chart ruler. So you're currently very driven to collaborate, to commit, to get together with other people, to sign agreements, negotiate contracts, and that Mercury in Leo gives you an added dose of charm and ability to express yourself in this playful, charming way. Additionally, this could be beautiful for any kinds of creative agreements and creative self-expression. If you're planning to plan a party, if you're throwing some kind of friendly get-together. Mercury rules your house of work and your house of business and communication and schedule, and Mars rules your house of identity, as well as your house of other people's finances. So besides the romantic, creative energy, this could be beautiful for professional negotiations, asking for more money, showing up in this charismatic way and being, this is what I do, this is my agenda, my schedule, I am ready to make more. Please give me more money. And then getting positive results is quite lovely. Bhavana says, you look great as always, and my lighting is fine. Well, thank you. I feel like when I'm filming it at home, I have like a proper light, and here I have this little tiny light. So this is it for Aries risings. Do share. Moving on to, okay, I overshot it. My chart moved by days instead of hours. Moving on to Taurus risings. For Taurus risings, Mars is in the 6th house, so it gives you the energy to work hard, to problem solve. And Mercury is in the 4th house of home, family, living situation. So here we get the lovely communicative energy in the family. You need a problem solved, you reach out to your uncle, they drive you to the airport, whatever it might be. There is a nice flow between whatever is on your agenda and the family members, even possibly people who live in the same building with you, although that would be more the 3rd house, but there's still good energy in the 3rd. Really great for any kind of, like if we're thinking of Mars and Mercury as manual labor, doing work in the home, building, remodeling, redecorating, anything like that. Even buying property, it could be quite a beautiful time for it, or selling property or moving, doing anything like that. Considering Mercury has been retrograding in your 4th house, it is a great time right now to perhaps apply all the lessons of the retrograde and actually go forward. Hi, Julia. By the way, if you guys want to say thank you, you can also, there is, I think, that option to buy me a tea or a coffee. It should be available, but of course, no pressure. Just wanted to throw it out there if it's resonating. So that is what I see for Taurus risings. It's also worth mentioning that Mars rules your house of partnerships and business, and your 12th house of foreign land, spirituality, mental health, while Mercury rules your 5th house of romance, pleasure, parenthood, and children, and your 2nd house of money. So investing money together with a partner, maybe again, some kind of family problem solving, dealing with matters involving children and finding a lot of support, having more clarity in communication with people you love is Taurus risings forecast. If you are a Gemini rising, Mercury is in your 3rd house sextiling Mars in the 5th house. So here we have Mercury, your chart ruler, finally direct, finally blessing you with clear communication and ability to verbalize what you feel, what you think, and not get stuck at all. You are quite blessed generally with very skillful communication. But here, I think it's emphasized even more, and it looks like it's focused on taking action. And with Mercury in the 3rd, Mars in the 5th, there may be an interest in taking your skills and hobbies to the next level, something you've played with and explored as an idea. Now you're getting ready to turn it into a business. You're getting ready to open some kind of school or start teaching people or present your product somehow, right? Because again, Mercury rules you, your house of self, and your house of home, family, living situation. And Mars rules your 6th house of work, health, problem solving, and your 11th house of community and friendships. So there's definitely this energy of like reaching out to people, presenting your ideas, showcasing your knowledge in some kind of shape and form, and finding support or venturing out there in the public way. Compass Astromind says, stopping by to say thank you for the content and for really being a spiritual person. Thank you. I try. I feel like the spirituality is a must. Otherwise life feels meaningless, right? We seek some kind of meaning, usually something beyond the things we see. So Gemini risings, that is what I see for you. If you are a Cancer rising, for Cancer rising, Mercury is in the second house of money and values. Also, I totally forgot to take the timestamps. Oh no. Okay. Forgive me. I am going to start now. And we'll have to figure out the rest of the zodiac signs later, I guess. So for Cancer risings, Mars is in the fourth house of home, family, and living situation, and Mercury is in the second house of money and values. So there's a nice flow here connected to investing into property, maybe negotiating a better deal with your landlord, maybe talking about things with family, just having more ease when it comes to family, either your biological family or your chosen family, feeling supported, maybe even financial, some kind of financial gift and bonus from your family. I can potentially see Mercury rules your 12th house of spirituality, mental health, and your third house of communication, siblings, neighbors, while Mars rules your 5th house of romance, pleasure, parenthood, and children, and your 10th house of career. So investing into home, but also investing into the happiness of your child, or investing into something that makes you feel happy and secure. Maybe even finding better ways to utilize your finances, right? Mercury has been retrograding in your second house of money, and maybe you made some money and then you had to pay it somewhere else. There could have been sudden expenses you didn't foresee, or some kind of financial confusion. So now that Mercury and Mars are coming together, and Mercury is direct, there is more clarity on what is of value to you and more clarity on what you want to be investing into. So definitely, you know, some kind of creative opportunities, spiritual opportunities, family, ease, all of that is quite possible here. And because Mars also rules your house of career and Mercury rules your house of skills and interests, developing some kind of new interest, maybe joining Anastasia Does Astrology natal astrology course that begins in September. Definitely check out my website for that. Okay, so if Cancer risings, if you have anything to share, please do. If you are a Leo rising, so for Leo rising, Mercury is in your first house and it sextiles Mars in your third house. So lovely connection between the first and the third. And first house is you. It's your identity, it's your physical body, it's your strength, but also maybe your wounds and challenges and problems that you've been working through during Mercury retrograde. So now that Mercury is direct and it's moving forward and it's aspecting Mars in the third house, very diplomatic Mars, you have the energy to speak up. There may be a conversation that needs to be had about you, your health, your identity, something you need to express, right? Talking to a sibling, talking to a neighbor, talking to a significant other, maybe even talking to a doctor if, for example, you've been feeling like you're getting back pains and you don't understand where they're coming from. There might be some type of opportunity to like verbalize things. Third house is also the house of writing. It's the house of communication. It's the house of your interests. So between Mercury in the first and Mars in the third, maybe you're starting a writing project. Maybe you're signing up for a course or a class. Again, just gonna take a second to tell you that my course begins in September, as you already know, I'm sure. But sign up if you'd like to boost your self-understanding and develop a better knowledge of astrology. So diving into your interests, speaking about your feelings, right? There's also quite strong connection to the house of relationships with Pluto being widely aspecting this sextile. Mercury rules your second house of money, your 11th house of friendships, goals, dreams, and aspirations. Mars rules your fourth house of home, family, comfort, and security, and your ninth house of travel. So besides the things I mentioned, this could also be a great time for building new friendships, reaching audiences that maybe you haven't reached before, traveling, and figuring out what kind of environment you want to surround yourself with. Hi, Margot Lynn. Good morning to you. Afternoon to me, as I am currently in Europe. So this is it for Leo risings. Do let me know how this resonates, dear Leo risings. If you are a Virgo rising, for Virgo rising, Mercury in the 12th house is sextiling Mars in the second house. Mercury is your chart ruler. It has been retrograde for a while in the 12th house, and you have been ruminating. You have been more private, more introspective, maybe more withdrawn. You maybe have been looking at kind of questioning things, looking at your blind spots, letting go of bad habits, or committing to your spiritual interests. And now that Mercury is direct, it is encouraging you to fully own those spiritual interests or to fully take action to clear out any bad habits. And with Mars in a sextile to this Mercury, it gives you the energy to actually take action. And I think there's a lot of focus here on self-worth and kind of building confidence, because Mars in the second house will remind you to value yourself, to take good care of yourself, to invest in yourself. So maybe you're investing in a spiritual course. Again, my course begins in September and it's going to be very spiritual. So learn astrology with me. I am just gonna keep mentioning it because we're getting so close. So bear with me. I appreciate your patience as I promote my child. So committing to spiritual interests, right? Investing into things, maybe even investing into something that is connected to like foreign lands, going on a trip to a faraway place to find some kind of peace and stability, making money through writing or through some kind of creative, maybe less visible passion, because Mercury rules your house of career as well, and Mars rules your house of writing and speech, and your 8th house of shared finances. So it could be a financially beneficial transit as well, together with increased self-understanding. Let me know how this resonates if you are a Virgo rising. Now, if you are a Libra rising, for Libra rising, Mercury in the 11th house is going to sextile Mars in the 1st house. I love this for networking. I love this for socializing, going out and about, meeting people, chit-chatting, right? Taking action as well. Mars in the 1st house, you embodying Mars more than ever, being a go-getter, being assertive, being direct, right? But doing so in a charming way. So taking action to perhaps move your business along, right? As I do when I tell you about my course. That is a very martial action. Here I am being live, being like, hello, check out my course. Hi, Julia, Libra rising. So yeah, like some kind of Mercury in the 11th, right? Like Mercury in the 11th is all about who you know, who you can talk to, who you can send messages to. It's very much like people share their stories with you. You share stories back. There's a lot of back and forward. There's a lot of communication going on. And you can use it to just plan a party and like hang out with people. So it could be like a very lovely 10 days in which you're interacting with others and having a good time. Or you could be using this transit for promoting your business, for gathering clients, for networking, maybe going to some kind of party, right? Or like a conference and giving a speech. Julia, let us know, what are you up to in the next 10 days? Is there some kind of fun social activities that might be happening? Mars rules your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, your 2nd house of money and values. Mercury rules your 9th house of education and your 12th house of spirituality and travel. So making money, right, through promoting your work, asking people for favors, building partnerships, maybe something that starts as a fun party actually ends up being an opportunity to make a connection that will actually help your business grow. So enjoy this social energy and have fun with it. Hopefully it brings you some good positive vibes. we like positive vibes always. If you are a Scorpio rising, so for Scorpio rising, Mars is your chart ruler, and Mars in the 12th house will be sextiling Mercury in the 10th house. So Mars in the 12th suggests that you are spiritually inclined. You're maybe working on something in therapy, or you're working on a creative project behind the scenes. Maybe you're getting away and seeking to rest a little bit more. There is a very introspective spiritual focus with your chart ruler being in the 12th house. And then Mercury in the 10th actually brings in the professional energy into the mix. So if you wanted to take a break from work and you wanted to communicate with your boss and be like, I need a couple of days, this might be a good time. If you were working on something in private, if you were working on a project and you needed to finish it up, that might also be the time when you're more in the flow and kind of going with things and feeling things better. I like this for anyone who's like a creative individual and works. Let's say you have a painting studio at home, there might be like more inspiration in private and when you're working behind the scenes, and also really nice opportunity to kind of talk things out, maybe find some understanding in the professional context. Mars rules you and your house of work, health, and service. Mercury rules your 11th house of friendships, networks, and your 8th house of debts, loans, bonuses and finances of other people. So definitely supportive, friendly, professional energy, right? Might even be financially rewarding. Let me know how this resonates. Julia says, I'm traveling, finishing projects. Things are good. That's awesome. You're welcome. You're saying thank you for your insight. Margolin says, Sagittarius rising, 4 Scorpio stellium, trying to do my Leo North Node, and I'm an artist painter. How exciting. Bhavana, which candle would you suggest for this time? I think if you wanted to maximize it and bring some more fire into the mix, sunlight in a jar could be a really great one because it boosts that solar energy, and you might want this even going further into Libra season when the sun enters the sign of its fall. So it's good for now, but it's also going to be really good for you in a couple of months. And Fire of Aries is a really good one that I feel like I don't mention as it deserves, because Fire of Aries is actually, also it has a really great energy for starting new things, because it has the sun, the moon, and Jupiter all in Aries. Very much just do it, let's get going type of energy. Thank you for asking, Bhavana. I am obviously not the one shipping my candles right now. My boyfriend is doing it, so they might be going a little bit later, but he's gonna, he's supposed to ship whatever is like supposed to be shipped tomorrow. So he's helping me out. Margolin says that candle name. Fire of Aries or Sunlight in a Jar? Which one? Sunlight in a Jar was the first one I ever made, so I feel very connected to it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for asking questions about my candles. I brought some oils with me. I didn't bring any candles just because I was running out of space very, very fast. Next, we have Sagittarius rising. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Mercury in your ninth house is going to sextile Mars in the 11th house. Really nice energy for any kind of educational matters. If you're finishing a report, if you're finishing, it could be a professional report as well. If you're dealing with some kind of logistical matters, I like this a lot for reaching out to a mentor and asking them for help, asking your teacher for some kind of guidance, even asking an editor or a friend who maybe has a degree in English literature to read over something you wrote. Legal dealings, conversations with lawyers might be a good time for that. Applying for visas, getting any kind of like documents could be great as well. Traveling, right? Traveling with friends or traveling to see friends with Mars in the 11th house. You're currently quite socially driven. Teaching others, not just asking people to mentor you, but actually showing up in the world as a teacher, as a leader, as a guide. Mercury rules your 7th house of relationships and business, and your 10th house of career. And Mars rules your 12th house of spirituality, foreign lands, mental health, and your 5th house of romance, pleasure, parenthood, and children. So traveling for love, maybe, I can see. Working on business projects, right? Maybe business projects that involve some kind of creativity. It's a really lovely social aspect. So there is a good opportunity to like make connections, maybe even connect with foreign people. Put yourself out there, right? Or connect with a foreign romantic partner, maybe something like that. Let me know how this resonates. We do have Margot Lynn as a Sagittarius rising. Well, you're saying you're an artist painter. Okay. I hope this transit brings some good energy your way. Definitely quite a positive time, even though it's not the biggest transit, but it is important because that's like the transit for the middle 10 days of the month. You're saying got the travel bug. Yeah, it could be a good time, especially now that Mercury is finally direct. Could be a lovely time to go out there. For the beautiful Capricorn rising, we have Mercury in the 8th house and Mars in the 10th house. So here, Mercury is in the house of debts, loans, shared finances, taxes, inheritance, and Mars is at the top of the chart in the professional sector. Could be a great time to ask for more money, present your work, right? And present your case because there's quite charming energy there. Getting authority figures, people at a bank to approve your loan or help you renegotiate something, maybe come up with different financing strategy or something like that is a possibility here. Mercury rules your 6th house of work, health, and service, and your, 9th house of education, travel. And Mars rules your 11th house of friendships, networks, hopes, and dreams, and your 4th house of home, family, and living situation. So additionally, maybe also dealing with some kind of authorities that are connected to remodeling your home, right? Maybe figuring out some investments around improving your living situation. Maybe making some healthier choices, making some, like Mercury in the 8th can be really good for research and investigation and like doing investigation to improve your health or doing investigation to write something for work. That could be a great too. Nancy says, good morning from California. It must be so early for you, 6 in the morning, right? So thank you for watching. It's 3:34 for me p.m. because I am in France. So so this is it for Capricorn rising. Definitely a good energy when it comes to collaborating with people, when it comes to asking for a raise, when it comes to rethinking agreements, and maybe even like doing research, digging deeply and discovering something, as well as potentially, we have Mars in the house of career and we have Mercury in the house of mysteries. So maybe making money through spiritual type of work. Let's say you do tarot on a side, or you do Reiki healing. Maybe you get more clients at this point and get your business boosted up. Let me know how this resonates if you are a Capricorn rising. Next, we have Aquarius rising. For Aquarius risings, Mercury is in the 7th house of relationships, and it sextiles Mars in the 9th house of education, travel, publishing, legal matters. So, talking to your partner about things that are maybe it's an interesting, because like this could be something as like fun as just a debate with your partner about a spiritual issue, or you pick up a book on Buddhism and you read it together, right? There could be like some kind of let's learn something, let's take a course together. But it could also be a lot bigger, as maybe an opportunity to travel to see your significant other, or go on a trip with your significant other, and like booking that trip at this time. Maybe learning something new. Don't forget that my course begins very soon in September, and you can register at anastasia.astrology.com. So very, very sort of lovely communicative energy, really good for learning, really good for travel, really good for writing, for, collaborating, having like a writing partner. But because Mercury is in the house of relationships and partnerships, it's just basically there's this clear speech and lovely energy between when it comes to interacting with other people. Mercury rules your house of fun and pleasure and romance and creativity, as well as your house of collaborations, shared resources. And Mars rules your 10th house of career and 3rd house of business and skills. So for sure, quite like a nice energy for creative self-expression, I think. And maybe even taking your idea to a publisher, or taking your idea to a friend and asking them what they think. Kind of taking your interest to the next level, bringing them to a public, or working on polishing a project and spending some time perfecting it could be quite fun here. And if we have any Aquarius risings watching, do let me know how this resonates. And next, finally, the beautiful Pisces risings. For Pisces risings, Mercury is in the 6th house of work, health, and service, and Mars is in the 8th house of debts, loans, finances, shared resources. So Mercury going direct is really good for structuring your day, structuring your schedule, feeling like you have the knowledge and you have the energy to go out there and problem solve and be productive, maybe even making doctor's appointments, scheduling therapy sessions, right? With Mars in the 8th house, like Mars in the 8th gives you the energy to be, to kind of fight spiritual battles for yourself or for other people. You may find yourself maybe guiding others. Somebody from work or a friend comes to you with their issue and you're like, here's what you do. This is what you deserve, right? Like with Mercury and Leo, you're going to be like extra, I think, empowering and encouraging towards other people. You may also use this energy for yourself. And Mercury and Mars between the 6th house of problem solving, 8th house of debts, maybe it's a great time to come up with a budget. Maybe it's a lovely time to sit down and talk to a financial advisor, right? There might be some kind of opportunity to problem solve, especially with Mars ruling your 2nd house of money, 9th house of legal matters, education, travel. So like asking someone for help who has the knowledge that you potentially do not have. And then Mercury ruling the 4th house of property, living situation, 7th house of relationships. Again, relationships, building connections with people, asking them for advice. And the 4th house element brings in maybe problem solving in a relationship or problem solving with family. Maybe it's not your finances that you're dealing with, but your mother's finances that you're helping her with. Or maybe you're talking to your partner about money and about health and about the future and kind of figuring out healthy and exciting strategies. Could be a good time for that kind of thing. So do enjoy and share how this resonates. Consider joining my natal astrology course, begins in September. And also let me know if you have any questions before we wrap up. It's been fun to do this live in a different setting, in a different environment. Always fun to chat with you guys live. It's a bit, I think it's a bit of like an unusual time for some people, maybe. Not everybody is around at 9 in the morning, New York time, because people work. I'm working too, but I'm working from very close proximity to the beach and on vacation. So colors things. Bhavana says, for me, it's a great time. Okay, well, enjoy this transit. It could be pretty good. It's good to have a relatively chill time before we go into the eclipse season. Because August 22nd, the sun enters Virgo. August 23rd, there's a new moon in Virgo in a square to Uranus. So it's gonna, I feel like it never stops. There's probably gonna be people there who say like, you know, there's always these positive aspects that we're talking about, but some people feel a lot of maybe negative ones, or maybe they feel a lot of positive ones, but like it's always a mix basically. But the end of September, the end of August, and then September with the eclipse season is going to be pretty, you know, packed and active and intense. So thank you guys for watching. Again, find my course on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Book your reading on there. Register to be my subscriber, whatever you have. Bhavana is asking, so paperwork are better done before that. So I wouldn't say don't do paperwork during the eclipse season, because Mercury is now direct, so you don't have to, you know, you don't have to rush to do it now. But Mercury-Mars aspect for the next 10 days or so is actually quite lovely for doing paperwork. So thank you guys. I appreciate you coming by to watch. And I'll probably do another live potentially next week. So be on the lookout for another live. This is my little light, by the way. I don't know if it does anything. I guess it does something. Little baby light. Anyways, thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Maybe I'll see you in class. Bye.